So you're thinking about investing in Shalimar, Florida, and you're wondering what are some tips and strategies? How can I invest in the real estate side for Shalimar? Well, in this video, we're going to go over all that you need to know, plus a little bit more. So if this is what you're after, stick around. What's up, everybody? This is Tim Whittemore with the Whittemore Group right here in the beautiful Emerald Coast. That's right here in the Destin-Fort Walton Beach area. If this is your first time to our channel, we do tons and tons of videos about everything you want to know about our area. I was a military vet for 14 years and now a military spouse. I've moved so many places. Every time I moved somewhere, there was always such a lack of information on where to move to and what to anticipate. That's why we created this channel for you. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button, click that little bell so you're notified every single time we got a new video coming out. Now, honestly, we get tons of phone calls, emails, texts from people that are moving to this area. They got some questions, need some help, and well, we absolutely love it. So if you are moving here, got some questions, need some help, or investing, give us a call, text, email, heck, shoot us a little paper airplane. Whatever you got to do, we got your back when moving here to our area. So let's talk about Shalimar. If you don't know where Shalimar is, well, I'm surprised you got here to this video. Just kidding. Shalimar is located just north of the Fort Walton Beach area, which is then just west of Destin if you're looking on the Emerald Coast here in the Panhandle. And most of the reasons that people look into the Shalimar area is because of the military presence. We have Eglin Air Force Base, which is just north of Shalimar, which houses a lot of contractors and active duty military and support staff in that immediate area. The reason people like to invest in this area or look to move to here is due to that access. Not only do you have access to that, but from Shalimar, you're about 15 minutes away from Hurlburt Field, depending upon traffic, right? But you're still able to get to both military installations with ease, and you're not so much in the mess of everything that travel times and things to get around are so bad. So when we look at getting into Shalimar, there are a lot of different real estate investments that you should be aware of. The most prominent one that people get into is residential real estate. So we're talking about renting out single-family homes, attached homes. It could be buying commercial type properties too, such as any apartment complex or something of that nature that has more than 4 units. So just so you know, if it is 4 units or less, it's still considered residential. So you can use a residential loan or investment products in this case. Anything above 4 units is going to be considered commercial properties. You also have storage units and things of that nature in there as well. Now, interestingly enough, throughout Fort Walton Beach and this entire area, the housing is rather eclectic. And what I mean by that is when this whole place was put together, Fort Walton, Shalimar, Mary Esther, all the areas around the base, there's really no zoning when they started to put this together. So what we have now is maybe $1 million plus property on the water, right? $300,000 to $400,000 home, a couple blocks away from a trailer park. And that's just how this area is. And it doesn't necessarily make the areas bad necessarily. However, things are now picking up as demand is increasing. So what we've been seeing with development is a lot of those trailers are being bought up and new development and new homes are being put in there. So something to keep in mind when investing in this area. The next thing that you want to ask yourself is what are the investment strategies that you could use specifically in this area? Realistically, anywhere on the Emerald Coast you could do these. So they're broken down into core strategies, value add strategies, opportunistic strategies, and debt funds. Now, a lot of the times people have no idea what that means. Well, luckily I'm going to break it down into what we commonly use these terms when we talk to our investors. Now, core strategy is basically what they call buy and hold. So you'll find a property that you want to move into. Maybe it's a property that you found, and with the down payment and insurance and everything else, you can still find that it cash flows if you go ahead and rent it out. Those are where you're going to hold on to the asset for a long time, rent it out or stay in it, and then gain the equity at the time of the end of your ownership for that property. So that's your core strategy. The next is the value add strategy. Now, in this case, what you're going to do is maybe find something that needs some work. We'll call it a fixer-upper, but it doesn't always have to be. Especially in the Shalimar area, we find a lot of properties were built in the 70s. And because of it, some of them still look like they're in the 70s, okay? It needs updates. So some of those updates that you can do, even though the property is functional, all you're really doing is aesthetic updates to the kitchen and the bathrooms, maybe put drywall versus the hardwood look area, the paneling as we call it. In any case, what you're attempting to do in this is you're going to buy the property, improve it, but we're still going to hold on to the property. Now that's going to take in some calculations. If this property is modernized, what's the rent? Because that's what we'd be looking for. What's the rent that we can use here? Is this property, can we use this for short-term rentals, right? So maybe we're looking into that. If you're looking into short-term rentals, you'll want to make sure if there's an HOA that it doesn't preclude you being able to do that. So buy, improve, and hold is another strategy that you can look into that can be very profitable. Opportunistic strategy is finding a property that is what we'll call a fixer-upper, doing a complete rehab on it, not just the aesthetic updates, and then reselling it for a profit. Those are called flips, right? So as the market calmed down from the craziness, and at the time of this video is 2023, when that craziness finally calmed down, there were some opportunities out there for you to find distressed properties, go in there, do the complete rehab, and then put it back on the market for a profit. So flips are becoming still a thing. The market is still transitional at the time of this video, so it is out there, but it's not as crazy as it was, say, 6, 7, 8 years ago. Now, debt funds is another one that you can look into. If there are liens on a home, which is causing it to basically go into foreclosure, you do have the option when a property goes to market to basically pay the tax liens for those properties, and those properties become yours. And then at that time, you could either sell that off to somebody else or improve it, right? You could flip it, you can improve and hold it, you can do whatever that you'd like for those properties. But those are just some things to look into. Now, there are the 4 different types of, well, realistically in Shalimar, there's 3 different types of investments. We're talking about a residential real estate. Again, those are condos. There are condos there. Those are single family homes, attached homes, or townhomes as we call it. Our commercial real estate, which could be apartment buildings, it could be restaurants, it could be whatever that are out there, it could be storage. In industrial real estate, there's really not much, if any, that we're seeing for sale at this time. However, that is something that you need to be aware of. But the 4th one is land. Now, land is a finite resource. So if you can find some land out there, especially in that specific area in Shalimar, you have an opportunity to build that wealth over time, develop it, do whatever that you'd like. So some investment strategies that you want to keep in mind as you start this process, regardless of which route that you decide to go, is first researching the market in the Shalimar area. That's probably what led you to this video to begin with. But you want to research that to see what the demand is looking like. Find out if you're going to buy a property to rent it out, what are rents looking out? What are rental projections looking like? I can tell you right now at the time of this video that we're still catching up with rents. We're probably 5 years behind, 4 to 5 years behind where rents should be based upon what people were purchasing homes for 1, 2, 3 years ago. So we're still way behind on rent, so they're only going to trend up. But you're also going to go, hey, is the market going to slide? Is it going to stagnate? I mean, it's very hard to predict that. But what we are seeing is that prices are still readily going up. And I'm sure that you're seeing alerts on different sites that prices are going down. But here's the thing. You're seeing list prices go down. So we see that what somebody wants somebody to pay for their property, they're probably bringing it down to whatever market value is what properties are actually being sold at. So I would, if you're going to track that data, track the sold prices, not the list prices, and see what that trend is. That's what we do, and we found that most of these are still trending upwards and appreciating in value, which is good for your buy and hold strategies. Now, one thing that you can definitely do when you're doing this is to leverage our expertise here at the Whittemore Group. We have a slew of great partner agents on here that are investment specialists that will help you on whatever way that you want to work, depending on the buy and hold, buy and improve, and give you the information that you do need here. Even if you are the expert at this or trying that on your own, leverage us for our real estate knowledge, the trends, what's the rentals, what a market can we get in, what can we actually get for this sort of house, what is the market projecting? Can we get 40K off of this, right? Or is it still at that time where we're still paying list price, or is it trending that way? Those are things that you can save a ton of frustration on by using our expertise here. And next we'll be assessing the property and appreciation potential. Again, we kind of talked about what that appreciation does look like, looking at the past trends in the Shalimar area, which even in this entire area is still going up. We're seeing more and more of those trailers disappearing, and because of that, it's only helping the surrounding areas market value improve. So keep that in your mind as you're looking into that. So what are some of the tips? Another question that we got was, what are some of the tips for real estate investment? Well, tip number one is to establish that clear investment strategy. What is it that you're after? Is it cash flow? Is it a cash flowing asset? Are we looking for cap rate or capitalization rate? When is this investment going to pay off itself, right? It could be a different variety of things. I need to make X amount of dollars after this flip, right? Or it could be whatever it is that you specifically need for your financial portfolio. So establish that clear investment strategy first so we know what we're looking for, so we don't go down the rabbit hole, so to speak, and then waste the biggest margin that you're going to have, which is going to be time. We don't want to waste time. We want to find exactly what you're looking for so that you can get out there, because again, as prices still continue to go up, we want to get this at the lowest possible price so you're able to reach your returns quicker. Now, there are financing options out there with specific investments. Now, if this is going to be your primary home and you're going to live in it and work in it and then decide to make it a secondary home by purchasing another one, we've seen this happen plenty of times. This is how you're able to get into a home using products like VA. If you're a veteran or currently active duty, you can use a VA loan, move into a property, fix it up. That's still your primary home, right? And then when that's ready to go, you rent it out, buy something a little bit nicer, and continue to go up in price and value. There's actually really no cap for how many properties you can realistically have on your VA. If you're not VA, you already have a primary home and you're investing somewhere else, expect most of these type of investments, you're going to need somewhere between 20 to 25% down on a conventional type product for a secondary home or an investment property. When it's going to stay the same across the board when you're looking at condos, single family homes, or townhomes. Now, know that once you do get under contract for these homes, you are going to get a due diligence time frame. It's the same as well if you're going to be doing land, you'll have a due diligence time. But we'll just concentrate on single family homes or just homes in general, condos, whatever. You're still going to have somewhere between 10 to 15 days, that's where it is right now, for you to get a third party inspector or inspect it yourself or both to do your due diligence to see if this home is going to be worth the time and investment that you're going to be putting into it. You'll want to talk to your real estate professional when you go into that, because that will be written into your contract when you try to purchase that property, but you'll want to make sure that you're taken care of there. One other thing to note is when we are looking to, say, purchase a VRBO, Airbnb, basically just a short-term rental, STRs, that you're going to have seasonal tourism fluctuations even in the Shalimar area, because it's in such close proximity to the Destin and Fort Walton, Navarre, all those different beaches and water activities, and some are even on the water, that you're going to have a lot more demand for those when the summer comes in. We'll say that the peak is in July, August timeframe, and the lull is typically in December. Now, some of this can be pretty good or bad depending, because we still have military folks that are moving in, and they typically like to bring those guys in sometime starting around April, moving all the way into the October timeframe. I'm not sure exactly why they use those cycles, but I'm guessing because they don't want to pull kids out of school, when their parents are moving back and forth. But no, if you're looking for short-term or longer-term tenants, that's when they'll become available. One of the key things about investing in Shalimar that's going to be really nice for you is the stability of a long-term renter, if that's what you're looking for. There's always been a demand. Heck, when I was in the military and I moved to this area, even back then, over a decade ago, the rentals were still crazy and hard to find, and they did demand a pretty high price. And I think you're a pretty solid investment for any of the buy and hold strategies out here, but we're here to help any way that we can. So that's all that we do have for investing in Shalimar, some tips and tricks for you. Hopefully this gave you a better understanding of the area, and if this is the way to go. If you still have questions that we didn't answer or something else you'd like to add, please leave it in the comments below. Please keep it positive. Of course, if you need some help with your investments in the Shalimar or any of the surrounding areas, please reach out to myself and my team here. You can give us a call, text, email, find us on social media, whatever we have to do. We'll try to help the best that we can with your next purchase moving forward. But again, my name's Tim Whittemore with the Whittemore Group here with LPT Realty. We'll see you in our next video. Take care.
All right, are you considering buying real estate in the Crestview, Florida area, whether you're looking to relocate to the area or invest in property? Look no further, because we have the information that you are going to need to know. Whether you're a first-time home buyer or an investor, or just really just to look to relocate for more of a permanent move, we definitely have you covered.